Hey y'all, 2022 was a crazy year, and in today's video, I want to share with you 10 lessons that I learned this year. Jumping right in, the first lesson that I learned this year is that not all advice is good advice, no matter how amazing it may sound. There are so many gurus out there, podcast, content sharing how to run a business, how to take care of yourself, how to stay organized, all of the things. And it's very easy to get swept up and try to do all of the things and apply all the pieces of advice, when at the end of the day, that is actually not the best thing to do. The thing is, you are unique and you know what's best for you if you take the time to get to know yourself and understand what season it is that you're in. It is so easy to bypass any personal growth, personal development, mental health journey processing. It's so easy to just bypass it and listen and look to somebody else to have the answer for you and get a quick fix, right? We all would love that. But at the end of the day, if you don't take time out to understand what works for you and understand the season that you're in life, you are gonna constantly be tossed here and there, and it will just feel very, very overwhelming. I want to share a great example. So I'm somebody who, I like the camera, I like talking, I like communicating in that way. I'm a very social butterfly. I love the marketplace. If I was to give advice to someone like me, I would say, get out there, network, go to events, go here, talk to everybody, get on camera, do all these things. Now, what if I'm talking to somebody that's a little bit more introverted, that actually hates getting on camera, that does not like to be around big crowds? Maybe their piece of advice that they need to hear in that moment is possibly, maybe when they want to create content, look to blogging or maybe podcasting so that they don't have to be on camera, right? There are so many ways to succeed in whatever it is that you want to accomplish. It doesn't always have to be one size fits all. You're unique, you're different. Take time to figure out what it is that you love to do, where you can thrive, and go from there. So it's about finding what works for you so you can in fact stay consistent and not feel discouraged on the journey. Another lesson that I learned this year is don't pour from an empty cup. It is so easy to stretch yourself thin, be over there, be over here, and do all of the things, and then try to pour back into friends, family, partners, clients, all of the things. But if you don't take time to fill up your own cup, how are you supposed to shine? The way to overcome the pouring from an empty cup is to be self-aware again, but also to plan accordingly. If you're someone who knows that you get really anxious when you're overwhelmed, but you know maybe working out helps you with that, schedule and make sure that you do not neglect time working out and moving your body. If you're someone who needs to be alone, you know that being alone is so important to your mental health and to getting creative ideas, put it on the calendar. Do not neglect who you are and do not neglect the things that bring you success just because maybe it doesn't work for somebody else. It doesn't matter, it works for you. So when we can plan accordingly to pour back into ourselves the way that it works for us, that's where the magic happens. It can be so easy to neglect your own needs and just pour into everybody else. But at the end of the day, you should put yourself first and understand what you need in this life, and just make sure that you put yourself on the calendar, whether that's planning dates for yourself, celebrating yourself, going for a walk in the middle of the day, planning meetings around how you know your rhythm is for success. I'm telling you, this was a game changer for me, and I hope it helps you. The third lesson that I learned this year is boundaries are yours to enforce. Listen, I would love it if people could read my minds, but the bottom line of it is they just can't. It is up to you and me and everyone who's watching this to set our own boundaries in our minds first, and do not move away from that. When you've made up in your mind what your boundary is going to be, you don't even really need to say it out loud. people understand and they can feel your conviction and your energy that you are not to be moved. This is the standard and it is what it is. And people will act accordingly. But if you are somebody who is wishy-washy with your boundaries, they change from here to there depending on who you're around, and you don't know exactly what those are, my friend, you are going to be looking at a tired life. Set your standards high for yourself, not based off of today, but where you want to be. So if you can spend time journaling and just visioning your future for whatever that looks like, whether it's business, health, mentality, whatever it is, I encourage you to journal and really think about what is that boundary going to look like for you to be the best self next year, and set that strong. And I promise you, it will make your life so much easier. And those around you will also know how to approach you and feel close to you at the end of the day. The fourth lesson that I learned this year is mind the business that pays you, my friends. This year, I had to take intense inventory of where my attention was going. There was a season this year where I was watching YouTube videos that were just gossipy. I was entertaining media that was extremely draining and fear-mongering over the past couple of years. Can I get an amen? I can't be alone with that, right? And there was also times when I would listen to podcasts or whatever of topics that were not pouring back into my life, and it was not putting money in my bank account, whether that's physical or mental. I had to take inventory of all these things, and I started to fix my algorithm. This year, what I did to help this for myself was I would literally go on YouTube and I would click not interested, do not recommend to a lot of channels that I had been following, and I would also unsubscribe from a lot of channels that I had been following because it didn't pour back into my mental health, and it didn't teach me anything that I could use for my businesses. And it honestly put me in a state of anxiety. And so I had to turn down the noise so I could really get clear on myself and my journey and my process. And then from there, I was able to tune into and pay attention to things that would help me grow better as a person and help me see life in a better way. The key with this is to tune into things that are gonna move the needle in your life for the better instead of helping you move backwards in life. So mind the business that pays you. Another lesson that I learned this year is that your community will make or break you. Oh my gosh, y'all, this was a hard lesson for me to learn, but I finally learned it, so I'm here to share it with you. If you have community in your life, whether that's friends or colleagues, whatever that looks like, that are causing you stress or where you are like the savior to them, it is really important to take inventory of what roles they play in your life and what role you want to play in their life. It's so easy to want to be the savior of your community. It's so easy to want to be better than those around you. So you feel like, well, I'm just helping people or I'm guiding people or whatever. But at the end of the day, you can lose yourself to this issue. For me, I had to take inventory of my community and my circle. And it was a little difficult to do, but I saw that it was necessary and I saw beautiful changes take place. So this doesn't mean that you need to cut people off cold turkey and, be extreme with it, but it does have to do with setting boundaries and seeing what you will and will not tolerate in the next season of your life, because the next season of your life is going to look so different from where you are right now. And if there's certain people that are not willing to grow with you and do not value personal development like you do, it is going to be a little difficult. I encourage you to look for new people to be in your community and see where you can find them so that they can align with your journey. How can you find these people? This year, I joined a membership group where I am around like-minded entrepreneurial women, and it was a game changer for me. I also took a sales course that helped me learn how I could make more sales in my business. these were intentional groups for me to join. Like I put myself in there, and they all were virtual. They all were online. So if you're somebody who's like, man, there's nowhere that I can go physically, look online and see if you can find your group there. I encourage you, take inventory of who's in your group right now and start to think about where you want to be in the future, and what does the future you, what is she doing? What is he doing? What community are they a part of? And start actively looking for that right now. Oh, I almost forgot. If you cannot find community in your area that aligns with your values and what you're looking for, start your own community. If that's a fitness community, if that is a community of women who are business owners, start it yourself. Maybe you are what people are looking for. And so I encourage you to definitely seek out community online if you can't find anything locally. But if you feel that tug in your heart and you're like, man, I really feel like this is just missing, maybe this is your year to start your own community. Another lesson that I learned this year is that hurt people, but you do not have to allow those hurt people to hurt you. Y'all, this was such a tough lesson for me to learn, but I learned it. So once again, this kind of ties back into wanting to be the savior for your friends or for people in your community or family members, right? We always, if you're like me, we want to see the good in people. We want to see them become their highest, best self. But if them doing that and you trying to help them do that comes at your own cost, it is not worth it. It's so important to protect yourself and protect your peace and release whatever it is that you think that you can take control of, and know that the people that are hurt in your life, they will find the peace that they need. For me, having peace in my heart and knowing that God protects all of us and we all have our own journey to go on has been so freeing, right? Because when you want to control situations, you're acting like you're God and you're not. So if you have people in your life that are hurt or going through hard times and you want to help them, but you're seeing it pull and drain from you, I encourage you to release control and know that they are on their own path, just like you're on your own path. And God is putting the right people in their path to help them. And you don't have to take full responsibility because it's just not your job. Another lesson that I learned this year is don't try to do it all. Listen, we all are gifted in our own way. And one thing we're not is gifted at everything, right? So I may be really gifted at photography, Canva, sales, all of the things, but what I'm not gifted at are like Google Ads. Okay, I'm not gifted at math. That's not my thing. So it'd be silly of me to try to do all of the things at a level 5 when I could be pouring my energy into the things that I'm great at, my zone of genius at a level 10, and see if I can find people in my area or in my arena, in my community, that can do all of the other things at a level 10. This is where I saw a huge change in my business and in my life this year, was taking a step back, okay, reaching out to people that I knew were better at doing the things that I hated doing, and allowed me to focus on the things that I was good at. Y'all, this allowed me to give a better client experience. This allowed me to have less stress. So don't try to do it all. You don't get an award for that, okay? So ask for help. And if you don't know anybody that can help you, ask somebody if they know of anybody. Join Facebook groups, ask chat boxes if they know. Go to Fiverr, go to Upwork, reach out to people, because you never know if someone is open to bartering. That was a big thing that I did this year, was bartering with other people to see how they could help me. And then we talked about payment later for the next time. But even if you don't want to barter and you want to pay someone, set aside money and see who aligns with your budget. You don't have to do life alone. Another lesson that I learned this year was do not have idols. Oh my gosh, do not have idols. Do not put other people on a pedestal. Number one, you are just as capable as they are. They're just human beings, just like you. They had a goal, they had a dream, they figured it out. Just like you can have a goal, you can have a dream, and you can figure it out. We have never lived in a time like today where you can just Google for an answer. If you really are passionate about doing something and you really want to do that thing, y'all, it is literally 2022 about to be 2023. You will find your answer. Somebody knows the answer. It's not like before. So there's no need to put someone on a pedestal and think, I'm not like them, they are up here, when you have the capability inside of you to be on that level, if not higher. Just this year in 2022, we saw a huge example of this. Sam Bankman-Fried, if you don't know who he is, look him up. He was really big in the crypto community, and he literally was featured on Forbes at 29 years old for being the richest, youngest person on the planet. Turns out he was a total scam artist. So, people maybe looked up to him. Maybe there were guys who looked up to him who were like, why can't I be like Sam? I want to be like Sam. I should be further along in my life. When at the end of the day, it's like, dude, he was scamming people. Full out scamming people. So it is important to not have people as idols in your life and to see them as a winner and to see yourself below them or you as a loser. You don't know. We don't have all the facts. Things are still coming out from years ago, right? That we are now determining like, whoa, that happened. So instead of trying to model your life after a specific person or after other people, I encourage you to model your life after future you, after dream you, right? This helped me a lot this year. I actually started journaling on Quantum Tina, on future Tina, right? What does she do? What does she eat? Where does she go in her free time? Who are her clients? Like how does she interact with her family? These were things that I journaled on without any reference to other people. And I was the queen, trust me, before this, on comparing myself to other people or idolizing other people's lives, all to find out they were getting divorces, they were going bankrupt, they were literally having a mental breakdown. So trust me when I say, do not try to compare your life or model your future off of other people. Model your future and your dream life off of values and morals that you find admirable, so that can be your metric, right? So that you can step into that today. But don't put other people on a pedestal or make them idols. Why don't you spend the time out to figure out who the dream version of you is and model your life after that? Another lesson that I learned this year is that discipline trumps motivation every time. Having discipline will help you have insane self-confidence. Let me give you an example. So old me, and I do this still sometimes, but old me, I would determine my level of success, like my metric of was I successful, on a feeling. So if I went to a photo shoot and I was pumped and excited and, I was just looking forward to it, or maybe I was pumped and excited to go to the gym, I would set that as the tone of that was a good day, I was successful. But now I understand that the real success comes when I'm maybe not feeling it, but I do it anyways. Maybe I'm not feeling super creative, but I booked a client and we're going to do a photo shoot and I need to show up. I need to show up as the best version of myself because that client deserves the best version of me. And so I put on that armor. I put on that uniform of the Tina that they want there. Same with working out. There are days when I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go for a walk, but I know that I have set a standard in my life that I want to be a healthy person. And so if I know that's the standard, I then move accordingly in discipline to show up. And when I show up on those days, I do feel more successful because when it's over, I'm so proud of myself. And that's where self-confidence is built. That's where self-love is built. When you move in discipline and not motivation. Motivation is fleeting. There are days when you're going to be excited to do something when you're not. It's all over the place, but discipline is a firm foundation that you can trust. And every time you show up for yourself, even when you don't want to, even when it's hard, you are building trust in yourself, and that will compound and it will flow out to where other people in your circle and in your community will trust you because you start to trust yourself. You will be a reliable individual. So discipline trumps motivation every time. And I encourage you to start small, no matter what that looks like. It can be going for a walk every day. Like, show up for yourself, put on the armor, put on the uniform of discipline, of who you want to be and who you know you can be every time. And it will feel so rewarding at the end of the day. The last lesson that I learned this year is the importance of staying in a state of gratitude. I actually did a quick Google search on the benefits of staying in a state of gratitude, so I'm gonna read them to you. So I'm looking down and reading. The first one that came up that I thought was beautiful was staying in a state of gratitude increases feelings of happiness and positive mood. This is so true, right? It also fosters hope for the future when things go wrong. It also helps to reduce stress and burnout and symptoms of PTSD, and it also increases resilience. Y'all, whenever I have stayed in a state of gratitude, this is something that I practiced this year, it was a game changer for me because I started to view any situation that was considered bad as something that I was learning or an opportunity for growth, right? Because, and I would show gratitude to that experience, to that event, and say, thank you so much for the lesson. And when I tell you, it was like a miracle out here, okay? My life started to light up. I started to feel confident again. I started to be excited, and I started to handle the punches that life threw at me, because life is gonna throw some punches every time. Can I get an amen? But if you stay in a state of gratitude, the blow is not as hard. Whereas before it was like I was getting slapped all over the place. But the blow, when you're in a state of gratitude, you can take it and you get up quicker. Your recovery time is quicker. So I encourage you, moving into next year or whenever you're watching this video, try your best to stay in a state of gratitude. For me, I'll actually show you. I just get a pad like this, and I try my best to write at least 5 things that I'm grateful for every morning. And I'll literally list it out. It could be as simple as I woke up, to my family, to my clients, whatever it looks like. And just starting from that place helps me to look at the day ahead with excitement, because life is good no matter what is happening. If you have breath in your lungs, you have options. You have possibilities out here, and that is something to be grateful for. All right, y'all, that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned any lessons this year, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what 2020 lessons you had to figure out the hard way or the easy way. Let a girl know below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.